Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For this tutorial, I'm doing another fault line cake. I can never get too many fault line cakes, but this time it's a little different in that it is piped and then smoothed. And I'm also added some shimmer on the base coat of buttercream and some geometric toppers. But first we're going to get the toppers ready. And I am just using fondant mixed with some Tylose. Tylose gives it some strength and it helps it to dry faster. And since I'm doing this all in one day, I needed my toppers to be dry by the end of the day so that I could put them on the cake and get all the pretty pictures. So I am marbling these. You just roll logs, line them up together, and then you just kind of twist them and squish them. Really technical terms here. Until you get the look you're going for. Now, I did end up adding a little bit more of the mint green in with the purple and the, what was it? Purple and the green, purple, green, and what was the other color? Can't remember. Anyway, oh, it was like a, oh my God, raspberry. That's what it was, raspberry, Color Mill raspberry. And what I'm doing here is I am just adding some edible silver leaf to these logs of fondant. I just put some water on first, and then I'm just adding the silver leaf and then using a fluffy brush to tap it down and make sure that it's stuck to it. You definitely need to add some water, otherwise it won't stick. And I did this to all of them. You're not going to see me do all of them, but it's the same thing for all of them. And then I set them aside and let them dry for probably maybe 3 hours. Now my cake was already stacked and crumb coated with dark chocolate ganache. I've been on a dark chocolate ganache cake lately. And I am adding my American buttercream on top. You can mix like that. You can put buttercream on top of ganache as long as the ganache has firmed up in the refrigerator or the freezer. And I tinted this the same mint color that I used in the fondant for the toppers. Just add a good healthy coating and then scrape it down as smooth as you can get it. If you have trouble with your first coat not wanting to be as finished as you want it, go ahead and just pop it in the freezer for 10 minutes and then do another thin coat. That always helps me to smooth out when I'm having problems. Now I'm using some luster dust. I am not sure of the color, but I will find something similar and I'll add it in the video description. And I'm just using this pump that came with gold luster dust, but I filled it with this mint limey green color. There's a lot of pearlescence in it too. And at this point, it looks a little splotchy, but you'll see that I do fix that. And you want to do this fairly quickly after you finish your buttercream because you want it to stick. And I don't know, I suppose it doesn't really matter too much because here I am dry brushing it on top and it has firmed up and is crusted over. So it doesn't matter. I take that back. You don't need to do it right away. But I would let it firm up or set up at room temperature instead of in the refrigerator because if you have condensation when you're doing this, you're going to have streaks and spots, and you don't want that. So I'm just using the extra luster dust that has fallen down around the cake, and I'm just transferring it back onto the cake. Then I put it in the refrigerator while I am making my toppers. Now I just have these lined up together, and I'm just slicing them into equal thickness pieces. The goal on this is to have marbling cells, almost like marbled cells, and each one is surrounded by the silver leaf. That was the idea, and it turned out pretty good. I was inspired by some clay jewelry videos that I have seen. It didn't work exactly the same, but it's similar. And these are kind of wet a little bit still from the water that I put on them when I put the silver on. So they did basically stick together. I just didn't want to disturb that silver leaf by adding water to them. So I just squished them together until they did stick to each other. And I rolled it thin, a little thinner than I wanted. So that's why I rolled out some more of that's gum paste. And I stuck them to that with some water and then rolled it out again. And I was much happier with the look. Isn't that pretty? I love that shine from the silver, the silver leaf. I think that's gorgeous. And then I had some extra. I didn't put silver on all of them. I had rolled out way more than I had intended. So I just went ahead and stuck them together without the silver just to see what would happen. And I'm adding a lot of cornstarch because on these, I did stick them together with water. And I don't want it sticking to my surface or to my rolling pin. So I just dust the surface of the table and the surface of the fondant with some cornstarch and just rolled it out. I think it turned out really pretty. It's different from the other piece, so you get some variation. If you guys know me, you know I like to have varying different textures and looks all in the same cake. And now I'm just doing my piping. I just cut a hole in the bag, about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch up from the tip, and I'm just doing a wavy line all the way around the cake. Very irregular, and I wanted the pieces to kind of touch in some places. And you can see that the waves kind of alternate with each other. Now, I did scrape this down once, but then I realized I wanted the buttercream sections to be a little bit whiter. So I did go back and add one more layer on top of what I had already piped. And I wanted that top edge to be a little bit more unfinished, so I left that as it was. And the more times you smooth it, the smaller your little peekaboo sections will become. So just keep that in mind. And now these have firmed up pretty good, so I just cut it into a square or a rectangle, and then cut those pieces into triangles. Then for an extra touch, I added some gold luster dust mixed with some Everclear on the outside edge of my triangle pieces. I'm using a fan brush just because it covers more surface area. And I made this paint by using luster dust, like I said. I already said that, mixed with Everclear till you get a painting consistency. Now this will dry fairly quickly. The Everclear melts. The Everclear dries and evaporates and leaves you with just the metallic sheen. And of course, we have to add some to the cake. Otherwise, it would be boring. Gotta have a metallic. I thought about adding some dragées, and I held myself back because it would be too similar to other cakes that I have already done. And I wanted it to be a little different. I like all my cakes to be a little different. That way you guys learn more. I'm hoping you can see the shine from the luster dust, or the dust. And I'm just attaching these with some buttercream. You could use ganache if you want, but I would not use water. And I wouldn't use piping gel because these are going to be too heavy. They would slip down. So ganache or buttercream works best. So there it is, all done, guys. I hope you like this. I wanted to do a single tier this time because I've been doing a lot of tiered cakes. Hope you learned something. And please like, subscribe, and share, and do all the things. And we will catch you on the next one. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch my video. And if you'd like to watch some other videos, go ahead and click on the link to one of these other videos shown here. And if you would like to check out my other social media, I am on Facebook and Instagram under the same name, Sophisticakes by Mary. And please take the time to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload another video. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you on the next tutorial.